Hey guys, Coach Spartman here. It's going to be data and statistics still, student handout 2. We're going to have the population inferences here. And so what is that? So once a sample has been collected from a population, so therefore once we have the data, an inference, what are we doing, man? Come on. All right. An inference about the entire population can be made by setting up a proportion. So once we have our sample, we can assume, okay, that's basically what we're talking about, that the rest of the population will follow that ratio of whatever it is. So once we have that sample to figure out the entire thing, we can set up a proportion, okay? Because this basically means assumption, assume, okay? All right, so these inferences can also be used to compare different populations and make predictions. So once we have a random sample, we can make predictions about what will happen with more or less, because we're going to assume that that's going to hold true. Now, is that sample always going to be exactly correct if we did examine the whole population? No. But when we're dealing with statistics, we assume that our sample data is true to the whole population. That's why sometimes when you see percentages put out there, for example, in presidential elections, they'll say there's a margin of error, okay? Because they don't exactly know. There is a chance that they're not completely correct, okay? All right. Number 1, Eastside Middle School conducted a survey of randomly selected 6th graders to determine which elective they were most likely to participate in. The results are below. How many students were surveyed total? So all we need to do to figure that out is just add all of them up. 14 plus 20 is 34. 34 plus 6 is 40. So all you need to do is add all of those up. Now, is that the entire 7th grade or 6th grade, whatever grade it is, 6th grade? No, that's their sample. That's what they chose. They chose 40 people at random. And when we compare that to the whole class, we're going to assume that those ratios will stay the same. So what percentage of students surveyed selected Spanish as their elective? So we know that 14 chose Spanish. We know there was a total of 40. Okay, so how do you figure out percentage? You just divide those two numbers. Okay, so you're going to go 14 divided by 40. Okay, and when you type 14 divided by 40 into your calculator, remember, because it's top number first. Well, how do I know to put the Spanish on top and not the total on top? Remember, total always goes on bottom. We talked about that when we talked about ratios. All right, so you divide 14 divided by 40 is 0.35. 0.35, remember when we talked about percents, that is 35%. Because all you do is move the decimal place 2 points and then add your percent. So it's 35%. All right, so if there are 350 students in the entire 6th grade, they only surveyed 40, okay, but there's 350. Using this sample, about how many students can be expected to sign up for art? So first of all, what is the ratio of art, the people that chose art? 6 people chose art out of how many of their samples? 40. Now, an inference, which is an assumption, assumes that the whole grade level is going to be the same as that sample, the ratio. So we're going to set up a proportion, just like we used to. Okay? They told us that there were 350 total kids. How many are going to like art? I don't know. And then we solve that just like we did the rest of them. Okay, that's one way to do it. There's another way I'm going to show you. And the way to do that, remember, is cross products. 350 times 6 is 2,100 divided by 40 is 52.5, which we round up with the 0.5 because you don't have half of a student. You can't cut them in half. So the answer would be 53 students. That's one way to do it. Yes, you need to write both ways. I'm going to do the other way on the other side of this line. The other way to do it is we know we can find the percent. Okay? So it was 6 over 40 chose art. What percent is that? So all you do is divide 6 divided by 40. That's it. So it was 0.15, which is what? 15%. So we can take that percent, okay, that percent, and multiply it we can multiply it. Oops, I'm in the wrong thing. And then we can multiply that because 15% of the 350 total students is going to choose art. So what is 15% times 350? It's 52.5. Guess what? That's the same thing. So in other words, to sum it up, you can find the percent and then multiply it times the total if they ask you this particular type of question, okay? So yes, I want you to write both of those. Because sometimes they may just give you the percent and you got to find out how many kids. Well, we can do that. Now, it's probably easier for you to use the proportion, and I'm good with you using that. I just want you to know how to use the percent way if you have to. Of the 350 students in 6th grade, how many students can be expected to sign up for theater? Same process. Okay. Except now we're not necessarily we're looking for the amount of students. All right. So we know that the proportion of theater right this second is 20 to 40. How do I know that? Because there was 20 in theater and there was a total of 40 in the sample. I know there are still 350 total students. So this is total. This is theater. Okay. I don't know how many are going to sign up out of the whole population. And I just do cross product. That's it. Same thing I just did. 20 times 350, which is 7,000, divided by 40, gives me 175 students. Now, you could have did that without doing all the math because you could have said you saw that 20 out of 40 is 50%. That's half, right? You could have said, oh, that's 50%. And then you said, oh, so 50% of 350 is 175. Or you could have did 50% times 350, and it would have gave you the same thing of 175. Okay? So you could have done it either way. E, the school decides to drop any elective that has less than 10% of the student's interest. So Miguel says that since only 6 students would like to sign up for art, it should be dropped. Tell me why he is correct or why he's incorrect. Well, first of all, let's figure out if he is correct. We know that 6 kids want to sign up for art, right? And we've already figured out that percent. If we go back right there where I'm circling in black, we've already figured out that's 15%. Okay? So, first of all, Maguel is incorrect. And he's incorrect because 6 students out of 40 is 15%. So based on the sample, 15% of kids will sign up for art. So he's incorrect because 6 students out of 40 is 15%. And then how do I do that? I do want you to write this. 6 divided by 40 is 0.015, which is 15%. All right, to the bottom. Mark each of the following statements as true or false based on the data. Over half of the students will select theater for their elective. Is that true or false? That is false. Why is that false? Because 20 of 40 select it, which is 50%. So not over half. Half exactly will choose theater. So that is not over half, that is half. Okay, so it's false. The second one, combined, the Spanish and art classes account for 50% of the elective results. Okay, so we need to go up here and we need to go, well, there's 14 Spanish and 6 art. So let's add those up. 14 plus 6 is 20. And it said combined, they combine for half, 50%, which is half. So 20 over 40, is that 50%? Yes. So that is true. The last one. Out of the 350 students at Eastside, at least 120 will sign up for Spanish. So to figure that out, we have to take our ratio of Spanish, which is 14 over 40. Okay? Put the total over there and find how many will sign up for art. So when we figure out how many will sign up for art, okay, have we already done this one? I just want to make sure if we have. We have not. All right, so let's do our cross product stuff here. 14 times 350 is 4,900 divided by 40 is 122.5. So at least 120 will sign up for Spanish. Yes, because it's predicted that 122.5 people, or 123, will sign up for Spanish. So that is true. All right. They gave us a chart up there of number of people and their favorite type of genre TV show. The solid ones are teens, and the ones that are striped like candy canes, those are adults. So a video company randomly selected teen and adult subscribers and asked them their preferred genre of TV shows. Use the survey results in the graph at the right to answer the questions below. First of all, how many total subscribers were there? So we need to go figure that out. This says this is the number of people. So this is 24. Well, I'm going to write it in a different color because that don't show it very good. 24. This is right here. This is 16 probably, because 17 would probably be about where the blue line is. How do I know that? Because this is 18, 15, so what numbers have to fall in there? 16 and 17, okay? All right, this one is between 9 and 12, so what numbers fall in between there? 10 and 11. Does it look closer to the top or the bottom? It looks closer to the bottom, so we're gonna say 11. The next one is on a line, so it's 27. The next one is on a line, so it's 15. The last one is right above 6, so we're going to go with 7 because it has to be 7 or 8, and it's closer to 6, so it's 7. Now, to figure out the total, we just add all of those up. We just go 7 plus 15 plus 27 plus 11 plus 24 plus 16. Just add all of those up, okay? So 7 plus 15 plus 27 plus 11 plus 24 plus 16, whew, and you get 100. All right, what percentage of subscribers surveyed selected a drama as their TV choice? So they asked the percentage, not the total amount. Now, this is going to be easy to find the percentage because it's out of 100. Now, they said drama. So here's drama, okay? So how many selected drama? 27 plus 11 is 38 out of 100 people. But they asked for the percentage. So we need to divide. 38 divided by 100 is 0.38, which is 38%. Now, any number over 100, so if I had 19 over 100, this is a sample. You don't have to write this. Guess what the percentage is going to be? 19%. If I had 92 over 100, guess what the percent's going to be? 92%. Okay, so when you have 100 as your base number, your total, it's easy to figure out percentage. But if you can't remember that, that's fine. You can always just do it the way we would do any other number, okay? If all you have to do is the adult, you have to go adult plus adult plus adult, okay? It's all you have to do is add all those up. And when you have 7, you have 27, and you have 16. So just add those up, and you're going to get 50. So there was 50 adult subscribers. So 50 adults. We're going to 2,000, okay? There are actually 2,000 subscribers. So using this sample, how many adult subscribers can be estimated to watch action shows? So we have 7 out of 50 watch action shows, okay? So this is action. This is total adults. We're going to 2,000. How many are going to watch? And then we just do our little cross product thing, okay? 7 times 2,000 equals 14,000. Divided by 50 is 280 adults. All right. Divided by 100 is 140. All right, what percentage of subscribers that preferred comedies were adults? All right, so how many people wanted comedy total? Okay. First of all, what percentage of subscribers that preferred comedy were adults? Well, how many people preferred comedy overall? 16 plus 24. So a total of 40. I don't know why it's not writing. 40 people wanted comedy, likes comedy. Out of those 40, how many were adults? Because they want the percentage that were adults. 16. So 16 were adults out of 40 total. Because we're just talking about comedy here. Okay? So 16 divided by 40 is 0.04, which is 40%. Okay? The reason we did 16 over 40 and not over 100, which was the total sample, is because we were just talking about comedy. They wanted to know what percentage of just the people who like comedy were adults. All right, E. Mark each of the following statements as true or false based on the data. More teens were surveyed than adults. Well, all we have to do is add all of them up. Adults are 16 plus 27 plus 7. That's 50. And guess how many students? 50. So was there more teens than adults? That's false. No, they were equal. Adults like dramas more than comedies and actions combined. So let's just look at adults, okay? All right, so we're just looking at adults. Adults are 16, 27, they're 50. And we want to know, did more like drama than action and comedy combined? So 16 plus 7 is 23. Is 23 greater than 27? That's not true. So they did like dramas more. So that is true because dramas was 27. Okay. The other two added up were 23. Half as many teens chose action over comedy. So teens, so we're talking about teens. So let me erase a lot of this junk. Oops. All right, so we're talking about teens and teens alone. Okay. Half as many teens chose action over comedy. Well, action was 15. Comedy was 24. Is that half? Is 15 half of 24? No. Okay, it's not. It's more than half. All right. Number 3, the school counselor randomly selected a group of students at Ford Junior High School to survey ways they can get home from school. Based on the results below, which of the following does not represent the data? So A says a total of 50 students were surveyed. Well, let's see if that's true. Let's just count them up. Okay. This is 10. This is 15. This is 12. This is 7. This is 3. This is 3. Add all of those up. So you just go 10 plus 15 is 25. Plus 12 is 37. Plus 7 is 44. Plus 3 is 47. Plus 3 is 50. So they asked which one does not represent the data. A does, because there were 50 students. So A is not the correct answer. 60% of the 8th grade rode the bus home. Well, how many of the 8th graders rode the bus home? 15. Okay. How many 8th graders were there total? So there's 15 8th graders that rode the bus. There's a total of 25 8th graders total. So is 15 out of 25, is that 60%? To figure that out, you just go 15 over 25. Is that 50%? Yes. So that is not the answer we're looking for, because that is actually correct. They want to know which one is not correct. All right. C. C says the number of car riders and walkers in 8th grade is equal to the number of car riders in 7th grade. So we got to do car riders plus walkers in 8th grade. So car riders plus walkers is 15, is 10. It said it's equal to the number of car riders in 7th grade. The number of car riders in 7th grade is 12. Are they equal? No, they are not. So the answer is C. All right. That's all the fat guy in the back wrote. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Adios, amigos.